Hello YouTube, this is Corbin22 here, back on the 100-point Squadron build for Star Wars X-Wing miniatures. Tonight's build, I've decided to make another synergy build, like with the B-wing and E-wing builds I've done. This one I've chosen 3 ships of the Rebel Alliance. I've chosen an E-wing escort fighter, piloted by Aon Abbat, a Koyansar BTL Y-wing fighter bomber, piloted by Dutch Vander, and an Incom T-65 X-wing fighter, piloted by Red Leader Garven Dreis. So again, it's focus behind this build is synergy, complete synergy. All of these ships' abilities can help complement one another, taking full advantage of their combat ability and whatnot in battle. So yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. It's a synergy build. They work together, they die together, so to speak. So yeah, it's the ships and their pilots. Let's look at the build. So they've been kind of modded to their fullest. With the Y-wing especially being heavily modded. The E-wing is able to take on a fair amount, and of course the X-wing, even though it's piloted by a Red Leader who is supposed to be an elite talent, supposed to be an elite pilot, does not get elite pilot talent. So you'd have to give him like you'd have to give him like R2 D6 or something or whatever. But anyway, let's move on to the ships themselves. We'll start with the lowest pilot skill here. That is flown by Aon Abbat. He has a pilot skill of 5. He flies the Flechette Incorporated E-Wing Escort Fighter. He has an attack value of 3, an agility value of 3, a hull value of 2, and a shield value of 3. He can take on the Focus, Lock-On, Barrel Roll, and Evade actions. Costs 32 Squadron points. He is able to take on an Elite Pilot skill upgrade, a System upgrade, a Warhead upgrade, and an Astromech upgrade. His ability states, when an enemy inside your firing arc at range 1 to 3 is defending, the attacker may change one of its hit results to a critical result. So Etahn is really good at scoring scoring criticals himself, as well as helping his ally score criticals. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, so Etahn, he's good for helping enemies as well as himself score criticals in the opponent. And he also has a decent attack value too, plus lots of actions. Yeah, his primary function is to help himself and his allies get criticals. For his upgrades, his elite pilot skill, I have chosen Deadeye, which states, you may treat the attack target lock header as attack focus. When attack instructs you to spend a target lock, you may spend a focus token instead. So this trades your target lock action for a focus. This trades we're using a secondary. It trades the target lock spending for a focus spend. So yeah, you don't have to constantly get a target lock in order to fire a warhead or a missile at your opponent. For his secondary, I've chosen Flechette Torpedoes, one of my personal favorite upgrades. It has an attack value of 3, can be used at range 2 to 3, and it states, discard this card and spend your target lock to perform this attack. After you perform this attack, the defender receives 1 stress token if its hull value is 4 or lower. So yeah, Flechettes are my personal favorite because they can deal stress even if they miss, and as long as the enemy ship has a hull value of 4 or lower. So yeah, and then for his R2 unit, I've chosen an R2 Astromech, which states you may treat all 1 and 2 speed maneuvers as green maneuvers. I'm getting the focus. So Etahn's E-Wing has 5 green maneuvers. His straightforward, bank left and bank right 1 maneuvers. His straight ahead 2 his straightforward 1 maneuver. His straightforward bank left and bank right 2 are green maneuvers, and his straightforward 3 maneuver is a green maneuver as well. The R2 Astromech turns Etahn's sharp turn 2 maneuvers and his bank 1 maneuvers all into green maneuvers, which makes it easier for him to remove stress if he ever runs through an asteroid or does a K-turn. Now we'll move on to Red Leader. Move on to the second ship. That's Red Leader Garven Dreis. He has a pilot skill of 6. He flies the Incom T-65 X-wing. Pardon me. He has an attack value of 3, an agility value of 2, a hull value of 3, and a shield value of 2. He can take on the Focus and Lock-On actions. He costs 26 Squadron points. And he's able to take on a Warhead upgrade and an Astromech upgrade. His ability states, after spending a focus token, you may place that token on any other friendly ship at range 1 to 2 instead of discarding it. So Garven Dreis, he supports his allies by spending a focus, and then he gives that focus to another friendly ship at range 1 to 2 instead of just discarding it. So as long as his allies stay close to him, then they'll get that free focus. For his upgrades, like with Etahn, I have chosen Flechettes for his warhead, and for his Astromech, I have chosen an R5 Astromech. And it states, during the end phase, you may choose one of your face-up damage cards with the ship trait and flip it face down. So the R5 Astromech is good for it's especially good for direct upgrade damage cards like direct hit, because direct hit states you get 2 damage, right? The R5 Astromech states you can flip that face down, and yeah, and then you only suffer like half the damage, and also it stops other abilities like other hindrances. Really sorry. Other hindrances like munitions failure or minor hull breach, that kind of thing. And finally, we move on to the heavy bomber of the build, and that is John Dutch Vander. He has an attack value, pilot skill of 6. He flies the Koyansar BTL Y-Wing fighter. He has an attack value of 2, an agility value of 1, a hull value of 5, and a shield value of 3. He can also take on the focus and lock-on actions. He costs 23 squadron points, and he's able to take on a turret upgrade, 2 warheads, and a Astromech upgrade. His ability states, after acquiring a target lock, choose another friendly ship at range 1 to 2. The chosen ship may immediately acquire a target lock. So much like with Garven Dreis, where when he spends a focus, a friendly ship at range 1 to 2 will gain that focus instead of discarding it. Dutch Vander allows another ship that's next to him gain a target lock as well as him. So yeah, it's good for it's good for if you want to double attack with your warheads. Now for his first upgrade for his Astromech, I've chosen to give him R2F2, which is a card that must be used during the action phase, and it states increase your agility value by 1 until the end of this game's round. So with this card, if you use this on your action phase, it increases Dutch Vander's agility value to 2 until the end of the round, which further increases his chances of evading enemy shots. For his first warhead, I've also given him Flechette Torpedoes. For his second warhead, I've done something different. Rather than give him extra munitions, I've chosen to give him a bomb loadout. And it states, if I can get this to focus, it doesn't cost anything, which is great. And it states your upgrade bar gains the bomb icon. So this turns the Y-Wing into a true bomber. However, the problem is he can only take one bomb. So kind of a downer, but if you combine that with extra munitions, then that kind of makes up for it. For his bomb, I've chosen to give him an Ion Bomb, which states when you reveal your maneuver dial, you may discard this card to drop 1 bomb token. The token detonates at the end of the activation phase. So what an Ion Bomb does is you drop the bomb, and then you move. At the end of the activation phase, when it detonates, any ship at range 1 of the bomb suffers 1 damage and receives 2 ion tokens. That's pretty it. That's straightforward. So it's basically like an ion pulse missile, but it's a bomb, and it's not just affected by one target. However, there is a catch. It can also affect your allies as well. So be very careful when dropping the bomb, because it's indiscriminate. It will hit your allies as well as your enemies. For added ion damage, I've chosen to give him an ion cannon turret, which has an attack value of 3, can be used at range 1 to 2. It states, attack one ship even outside your firing arc. If this attack hits the target ship, the ship suffers 1 damage and receives 1 ion token, then cancel all dice results. So yeah, more ion damage for the Y-Wing to dish out. So yeah, I'm going to call this my, this will be my support build. Just plain simple, support. Its advantage is it's a synergy build. So all of these ships help each other out in every way possible. Etahn allows his allies as well as himself to score at least 1 critical. Dutch Vander allows one ally that's next to him to receive a target lock when he does a target lock. And Garven Dreis, when he spends a focus, if another ship is at range 1 to 2, he can give that focus to him rather than spending it on someone else. So really, Dutch Vander and Garven Dreis are going to be ones that kind of be going together. And then, of course, Garven Dreis will also want to be close to Etahn to pass on his focus to him. They all have secondaries that deal either stress or ion damage. Their R2 units help them perform better. Like R2F2 increases Dutch's agility. R2 Astromech gives Etahn more green maneuvers to allow him to get rid of stress easier. And the R5 Astromech pretty much saves Garven from any criticals that have the ship trade on it. His disadvantages, his major disadvantage is this build is 100% synergy build. If any one of these ships goes down, then it affects the build entirely. Like, granted, they're able to, like, you know, they are able to fly off on their own, but it's more advantageous if they stay together. So if one of these ships go down, then the build is kind of, you know, disturbed a bit. Etann's a pretty balanced ship. He's pretty much got the same attack. He's got the same attack as Garven. His agility value is that of the A-wings, and his hull and shield value had been reversed, so he can sustain hits. He can sustain more criticals than Garven. Garven's a pretty fragile. That being said, he's still a fragile ship. 5 hit points each. Same with Garven. However, and also Dutch Vander, he's got lots of hulls. He's got lots of hull and a decent amount of shields. His agility sucks though, and so does his attack. So you're probably gonna be relying more on your secondaries with Dutch than you are with your primaries. So yeah, this is my support build. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Any constructive criticism is greatly appreciated. If you like, you may use this build for any competitive or casual play, or if you want, you can tweak it or completely revamp it to your own specifications. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Corbin22, signing off.